Going live. Going live. You're live. I hope I'm live. Okay, I thought I had basically covered this last year to kind of capitalize on the Yellowstone thing. I want to kind of show off the vest here instead of holding it up and make special note of the flap pockets and the pearlized buttons. This shirt does not have any shoulder yokes. My camera is backwards from where I'm looking, so when I'm pointing at something and I'm pointing at the wrong thing, I've mostly gotten used to it. Today's Easter egg also. In Dead Poet Society, Neil wears a shirt very similar in design to this, plaid under his green sweater. I've been meaning to point that out in a video for months now, and I keep not doing it. I don't know that it was a Paul Frederick shirt. It's not a product plug intentional. But on the topic of plaid, this shirt also being plaid, not every plaid is automatically cowboy or Western. So when we're saying Western, we don't mean all of Western civilization. We mean specifically, Texas and New Mexico and old California and, cattle drives and all that prairie dog stuff, right? Home on the range. So this shirt could be cowboy-ish, but to me, this is more of a mountain kind of thing. Now, if you live in a city, in an urban area, and you own a lot of stuff like this, people might say to you, hey, you're a farmer, you look like a farmer, where this is more mountainy than farmy even. Or somebody might say howdy partner and, give you a cowboy nod or something. But you'll know in your heart of heart that this is a JCPenney flannel shirt and not a more true, authentic cowboy shirt. Ditto this one. This is just a nice autumny shirt. I wouldn't consider this necessarily a cowboy shirt, but if I put this with a cowboy hat or something, I don't think too many people would question it. It also has flap pockets, but with buttons instead of snaps. So here your whole 80s urban cowboy deal coming back. Again, another, I think this one's from Mervin's, but another crossover generic plaid that could be nautical, could be mountain, could be farmy, could be cowboy. Whereas when I was in JCPenney many years ago and I was more interested in buying a different shirt that I think I showed in a different video, the woman I was talking to told me she was a horse gal and this was the better looking flannel. And I didn't think it was the better looking flannel because at the time I was looking for more of a preppy Dead Poet Society style flannel. But I bought this one anyway because this one can very much look, especially if I wore it with this, like a cowboy shirt, as she said. Whereas a lot of cowboys, of course, will wear solid color shirts. And these are Panhandle Slim, which, despite the name, don't run as slim as some of the other brands. And these ones tend to fit me better. These are more of a work twill. Notice again the flap pockets with the pearl buttons, or snaps rather than buttons. I'm not going to open them all and close them all. You get the idea. But something like this, not quite a dress shirt, still a work shirt, could substitute for an office casual shirt. Ditto something like this maybe. This is Wrangler. Wrangler's a brand that I do think runs slim. Levi's also. They've all gone more fashion than function. Another JCPenney, but this one now, denim. I was going to talk about denim separately, so I'll come back to this. But here we've got the yokes. Here we've got the snaps. Here we've got the flat pockets. Not all of them have flat pockets, but this one does. Here we've got distressing denim. Yes, okay, we'll come back to denim. Whereas here's another Wrangler in a very light weave. I'm positive I showed this one last year. This time we have the sawtooth pockets, though, if you can see that. There we go. So instead of a single flap, we have like a double deal. Stuff like this, really nice and airy, great for summer, but still long sleeves. So if you don't want to get burned, almost all of these will have long sleeves, but you can find Western / cowboy shirts in short sleeve. I'll be showing one later, or actually here's one now. Levi's again, also cut very small for me, but with the yokes on the front, with the yokes on the back. Now see, contrasting stuff like this with the plaid is what we're talking about, how most plaids won't have that much contrast. They usually more uniform. So it's almost a dead giveaway if you're getting more contrast stitching that you're getting a more cowboy look for your Beyonce record listening or your Yellowstone watching or your horse riding. Okay, and here's one with kind of a floral motif and some excuse me. Number 2. Okay, just some dust. And again with the pockets and the snaps, and this is another JCPenney special. And here's Eli Cattleman, which is a brand that does more dress shirt kind of things. So we still do have, again with the pockets though, but now we have a polyester blend material, or might even be polyester. I don't know that. No, this 60% cotton, 40% polyester. Okay. So yeah, definitely in the office casual realm when we start hitting polyester. Again, kind of a conservative plaid, but with contrasting front yokes and a contrasting rear yoke, as you can see the back there. So really, you don't always want to be flamboyant with all your cowboy stuff. Again, solid shirts are available, or some people will substitute in a less cowboy denim shirt, just wear a denim shirt. But that would be more of a work shirt than a true Western shirt. So here's one that's a lot more flamboyant. Now we're getting more into kind of the 70s or whatever. I'm positive I showed this last year. I didn't bring out any of the kind of Singin Cowboy stuff or the printed 90s kind of stuff that used to be the rage. Again, we're going with plaids. But okay, now here's a style that I didn't show last year. This one's kind of more almost a costume bit, but you've got super embroidery, and you'll find different embroideries. This is like from Blair, or Hayband or one of those, and kind of polyester, 65% polyester. So not a traditional material, but still with the flat pockets, still with the pearl buttons, snaps. Sorry, I keep saying buttons. Still with the, there is a back yoke, but it's not contrasting with whiter embroidery. Sometimes you will get embroidery on the back. Some of those denim shirts I showed off last year had that. I know I showed them off. I just don't remember which video it was. But then you get, like, similar to this vest deal, you get, like, this is an old Cabela's flannel. This is a nice heavy flannel. And they had a whole line of kind of similar stuff like this. My cousin took one of them. But again, this kind of thing, look good with jeans. Hard to kind of pair it with other stuff because it's so busy on its own. You'd put a leather jacket over it maybe to tone it down. Similarly, here's a LL Bean hiking shirt where they've kind of done a Western thing. It has snaps, but not ornate ones. It has yokes, but not super pronounced. I'm trying to get it to where the camera, there we go. So instead of being all pointy in the front, down here they've flattened it off the bottom, but it still has diagonal. I can't point in the correct. Silly. Anyhow, but that's not even a true cotton flannel either. That's some tech blend thing. So they have a similar version still available, but not that exact color. Okay, we're having a meltdown here. A Wrangler twill work shirt, a heavier duty. This will be same concept of as a denim shirt, but a little bit lighter weight of a fabric and a slightly different. How do you express? I mean, a denim is technically a twill weave, so it's not the weave that's different as much as I think it's the thickness of the yarns. So I think it's basically still a cotton twill, but the yarns are thinner but tighter, because I think denim tends to be kind of loose compared to certain canvas and things of that nature. But yeah, you still have the yokes. You know, you still have the snaps. And for a while there, they were doing different things. They were doing words down the sleeves. They were doing color blocking, things like that. They weren't the only brand that did that, because I also have this one that is my Forest Ranger looking shirts. These are short sleeves. So there's another. Typically, short sleeves is considered less cool in the stylish sense, because you can't, roll them up. You're just stuck with short sleeves. It'll focus again in a minute, I think. Eli Cattleman, another brand. This one is, you can see it's very definitely Western cuts. This one's a short sleeve also. But I also got one from Scandia, which is Blair, which is almost the exact same colors, but this one almost more nautical and a nice lightweight. It's not Madras, it's not seersucker, and it's not linen, but I guess it's similar to Madras because it's an open weave. Whereas on the other end of the spectrum, I think this is a hayband flannel, which is probably not all cotton. No, it is. Well, it claims it is, but I'm sure there's spandex or polyester or something blended in there. But sort of a autumn rustic vibe. Again, very mountain crossover, not strictly cowboy, because again, with flannel, we don't associate flannel with the Old West, even though a lot of the Old West is actually high elevation, including right next to the Grand Canyon. Yada yada. So let's, okay. This is the one I mentioned earlier when I said short sleeves, but then I found other short sleeves. I actually got this at a thrift store, and this is just like a green plaid, almost a tartan. Short sleeve deal with the flat pockets. But again, the kind of the cowboy version of office casual, because here we definitely have 40% polyester again. So anything kind of poly blend is kind of meant to be worn with maybe a sport jacket instead of always on its own. But something like this, again, the flat pockets kind of throw it off from a typical office casual if you're in a real urban setting, but like this is almost strictly office casual. The only thing outdoorsy about it is the flaps on the pockets, and the only thing really Western about it, again, is the snaps, because there's no yokes here. There's no contrasting back yoke. There's no contrasting front yoke. So something like this, under, again, something like this, or I might as well show these now. Hollywood's version of cowboy stuff, that basically almost nobody wears anymore, is these kind of suede or leather vests. It's hard to find a true leather vest with the back also leather. A lot of times they'll be corduroy or denim or some other weird fabric. I've found some that they tend to run around $300 too. They get pretty expensive, and they almost all run small. These run a size small-ish. You almost always have to buy a size up, or at least 2 sizes in some cases, to get a better fit. It's really not fun. A lot harder than sizing your denim. I'm trying to talk fast, and it hasn't even been that long of a video compared to some, but we'll try and wrap it up in 20 minutes or so. Here's a special one I bought many years ago. This is more of the Singin Cowboy kind of stuff, throwback to the 40s, the piping and the pockets and that kind of thing. This is an embroidery on the back. This is from Fender Guitars. And I ended up taking in to get it tailored because the sleeves were too long or whatever, but I didn't want him to make it too tight in here. I wanted him to shorten it at the cuffs, but instead he made it too tight in here, so that was lovely. Because this is an extra large after I sent back the large, and I still think it doesn't quite fit me because a lot of these cowboy things tend to taper very much extremely to a V toward your waist, which again, the Panhandle Slim are the least tapered out of, I think, almost all the brands, if they're still going strong. I don't know. But yeah, this was an expensive one that I bought way back when, or expensive for my point of view, especially since I don't wear black a lot, but it goes with a black hat and black boots and yada yada. And it has kind of an interesting weave to it, so it does get a little bit of airflow compared to some other cotton fabrics. So I did wear it a bit, but not quite worn out. Similarly to that, a couple more. Another kind of office casual, but here a paisley. Again, the only thing really Western about this will be the snaps. It does have yokes, but since it's paisley, you really can't see where the contrast is. I'm trying to get it on both sides of the camera. So if you can even see the seam, you can see it better on the one side than the other because I'm going to, okay. Yeah, you can't even see it on this side, whereas you can see it a bit there. Okay. Why can't I get it to, why can't I get my finger to go in the right direction? Anyway, it's like being dyslexic, but knowing that you know how to read, you know. But anyway, so yeah, something like this again looks nice with a pair of jeans by itself, but kind of wants to have a vest or something with it. Again, more office casual, just but also could be worn outdoorsy because it's a twill, but it's also a more refined twill than those Wrangler ones and other ones. So we're getting, this is another Panhandle Slim. And so we're getting into the gray area there. Another exact same shirt in a different color. I've had these for a while, and I'm surprised they still fit. But again, this brand being a little bit more forgiving than the other brands, we can see where the collar's starting to get kind of grungy. So that one might be just about done for. And of course, this is still a true Western garment, the Canadian tuxedo, or whatever you want to call it. At the classic, this is not a true Levi's, but you know, there's 20 brands that make basically probably the same jacket that aren't too. In the 80s, everybody went overboard with the acid wash and the different pockets and bells and whistles, whereas Wrangler and Rustler and why am I brain farting? Not Bugle Boy. Bugle Boy was one of the Lee. I think Lee might have done denim jackets that were traditional. And then similar to what? Okay, so we're back to denim. As long as I'm talking about the denim shirt, like I said, the denim jacket. The denim jacket and the denim shirt and the denim jeans is not a combo I've usually seen. I think everybody picks a different shirt if they're wearing a denim jacket because a denim shirt is usually heavy enough to wear without a windbreaker-ish weight jacket. This is already probably 14 ounces or whatever by itself. I'd be hard pressed to say exactly. I've had other denim shirts that, again, I'm positive I showed these off last year, that are lighter weight than this. Definitely more of a fashion version of a denim shirt than a true work shirt. And a popular undershirt more than a regular t-shirt would be a Henley shirt. This is just a beat up old worn out one with the short sleeves. But a long sleeve Henley shirt is pretty traditional, true Western wear. I'm not sure how many actual or when it actually originated or da 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 da, but these days it's pretty safe bet. So I'm going to save that one for last. One thing, so instead of a leather vest, again, or instead of a denim jacket, the denim vest has long been a Hollywoodized version of a cowboy. And they're usually pretty easy to match to a color of jeans and try and fade them about the same. That's just a regular pair of jeans. Now here's an older, this is an ancient pair of Levi's. The tag was actually in perfect condition until I like literally washed it like once, and then the whole tag disintegrated because these things are from like 1982 or whatever. But they they still barely fit me, and I found them in the closet many years ago, and the seat hasn't gone out or anything yet. They don't have any holes, but they came almost faded this color. But you can see there's some fading, but they're not a true cotton because I think they're a spandex blend. I don't know, the tag's kind of wasted, but so I can't really read that, but I'm pretty sure they're stretch denim. At least a little bit stretch. Yeah, a little bit stretch. Maybe not as much stretch as you can get these days. They'll stretch this way, but not this way, right? The waistband, not a ton, but you know, the intention is there or whatever. But so like I got these, and I was able to find an almost matching vest. Not perfect, but pretty close. And this was just another hayband thing. But here we have Western yokes and some pockets with contrast stitching and some metal buttons or rivets. And the back yoke is nothing too extraordinary, just one seam, but it's there. And I forget, I think that darker blue one is it's the exact same vest, just in a darker unfaded color. So that you can call that Western. Again, you know, something like this with this shirt would look nice because the little bit of blue in it goes good with the blue shade of this as opposed to a really dark indigo. As I explained in a different video, I would consider only diagonal twill to be more cowboy. The square canvas-like denim, I would consider more sailor, traditional. I don't know which one came first. I don't know which ones the prospectors really wore, but it doesn't matter because I'm looking at them from a modern aesthetic. And from a modern aesthetic, one looks like sailcloth and the other one looks like horsies, okay, and saddles. And so last week, I ordered this shirt, and it's supposed to be another one similar to this. But for the price, I thought this was going to be a heavier texture, almost like maybe a rugby shirt and with a woven. Instead, it's like a t-shirt with a printed. So yeah, it's a long sleeve Henley with buttons, but it's just a white printed shirt. So I thought this was kind of a joke or a ripoff compared to what I thought I was getting to wear with particularly these jeans. Because I thought, yeah, that would look really nice together. Except it's a freaking t-shirt, not a nice substantial standalone Western shirt. I guess it'll still look okay with the vest, but the vest without a collar, not so much, you know, just to give it a little bit of something to go with it. But it's a t-shirt. I don't consider t-shirts to be standalone shirts most of the time. They're underwear, period, most of the time. If you buy it for a specific design, sure, why not? You know, a concert t-shirt or whatever. But for the most part, so I was very disappointed because this is the kind of thing I get for like $30 from LL Bean and wear it under this shirt. not print it and call it a day. No, I don't know if I'm going to return that because I haven't bought that many clothes this year and I'll use it, whatever, but I'm not happy about it. And I got their survey before I even got the product saying, would you recommend this to a friend? Well, I haven't even tried it on yet, so I don't know. But no, I don't think I would recommend this to a friend because it's not what I thought it was going to be. And it costs 3 times more than I really wanted to spend on what it is. So that might be the straw in the camel's back with that company. Yeah, we'll see how I feel in the future. But that's yeah, that's a big pile of clothes, and that's not even comprehensive, like I said. But we're already over 20 minutes. So any questions, you can leave them in the comments. And yeah, I think that, like I said, without being totally comprehensive, I think that was actually still pretty comprehensive.